Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Christmas edition of the EasyCast. I'm your host, Brian Gregoire.
Co-host, Zeke Wagar.
And we are feeling holly and jolly this morning. I've got...
Hey.
What?
A fat crack?
A fat crap?
Yeah, jolly.
Holly and I'm feeling holly and jolly.
All right, well you do your thing.
I am. I have my cranberry Sprite here, which is absolutely delicious. And shout out to the Park Pub, Mark and the crew. Do a fantastic job every week. I've got my Hogan style mild wings here. They put them under the broiler briefly. They're baked. They're semi-baked and then served to me with that mild sauce, and it's fantastic.
It's 10:26 in the morning,
and I'm having wings, baby. That's how I roll. That is the Brian G way.
Figured that'd be me, but I guess
oh yeah. And now it's time for an analogy warning.
Okay.
I have an analogy to make.
Uh-oh.
Drew Brees is the Ronald Reagan of the NFL.
Okay.
Think about it. They both inherited a dumpster fire when they began. You think about what Ronald Reagan inherited from the 70s era in this country, which was an absolute disaster with OPEC, poor economic performance. And then what did he do? He crafted it back into a functioning country again for the future, which sustained for quite a while. Drew Brees has done the same thing. New Orleans was historically a laughingstock of the NFL. They were what the Browns are now.
Well, I don't know if it was ever that bad.
But they were pretty pitiful. 80s, 90s, the Browns, or not the Browns, the Saints were laughable. Drew Brees comes in, changes the tone and the trajectory of the organization, and now here they are, as I would say, especially in the last 15 years, one of the most prominent teams in the NFC.
I would definitely say so. My favorite thing about Drew Brees, well, actually, before I get to that, let's just state the fact that when he was in San Diego, he was alright. He wasn't the Drew Brees he is now. But also, let's not forget that Drew Brees should have been a Miami Dolphin. Just put that out there. Just want people to know that. So, to really think about that and think about where the Dolphins would be if they had Drew Brees it's actually kind of heartbreaking.
There's two things I don't invest in. Conspiracies and coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Well,
so
no,
all you and all your coulda, woulda, shouldas, what could have been in Miami.
Well, I mean, hey, he came in for the physical, and we said we didn't want him. We turned him down, and we didn't take Drew Brees, and that, big mistake. But anyway,
go on. I mean,
Drew Brees is just, he's a natural leader. He gets the entire team pumped up, ready for any game, and he's just one of those quarterbacks you want to play for. He's not one of those obnoxious guys,
And that's it. Drew Brees has, and that's something, again, that Ronald Reagan did. He had some of the strongest leadership skills that this country has ever seen. And Drew Brees has ruled the same way down in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And what other quality do both have? They're both likable. Mm-hmm. I consider Ronald Reagan to be the most likable president in American history. The way he just captivated people from both sides of the spectrum, Democrats and Republicans alike. And I know he had scandal to follow him too, but I think that his legacy will live on as the most likable president in American history. That's why we performed as well. Obviously, it translates into success. And the same goes for New Orleans. I mean, players have cried when they leave the Saints because they're not going to be around Drew Brees. That's just how likable that this guy is.
He is. He's a stand-up guy. I mean, you hear him on like mic'd up things, with his kids and his wife, and he's just well, for one, he's what a man should be, and a quarterback should be. So that's why Drew Brees is honestly one of my favorites. He's just true to himself and who he is. I respect the hell out of that for Drew Brees.
And lastly, both of their runs were very improbable. I mean, Ronald Reagan was an actor. Who would have, and he was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the first president in United States history to have a non-political background. So at the time, it was very improbable because it was just tradition. We vote in politicians to be presidents, and we don't break that status quo. And the same goes for Drew Brees. We don't want short quarterbacks. There were never short quarterbacks. There's never an abundance of short quarterbacks in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. So
and Drew Brees did.
Teams were naturally fearful of it. People were doubtful of Drew Brees. What did he do? Use that as motivation to propel him to the next level.
Beat Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. But that's when you really do draw that comparison, don't you see the parallels between the two?
I suppose.
Yeah? I've really opened your eyes to this reality, haven't
There's not much of opening my eyes, but we'll go with that. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on Drew Brees.